If you don't know your people, their problems, and your position, and have a plan to promote your solution, you will waste your time, energy, and resources creating classes that people don't like and don't return to, marketing in the wrong direction, and you will lose income. Today, we are going to fix your business. Hey, I'm Casey Cole Corbin with Dynamic Fluid Art Coaching. And this is the 5-day challenge, and we're on day number 2 of that. I hope that you have been receiving my emails and that include the workbook section for today. We've also been experimenting with some fill-in-the-blank notes in a separate email. So if you like those, please let me know. So far, I've gotten 100% positive feedback from that idea. So I will continue to do those for you. As long as I keep hearing that they're useful to you. All right. I have a program in which I mentor teachers of fluid art all over the world. I've been doing this for 2 years now. And my heart is to lead you up the 5-step success path. And whether you do this as a side hustle, you need just some side income and have some fun sharing the joys of acrylic paint pouring, or if it's something that you would actually like to do full time, we have both in our membership group. All right. So I'm really glad that you're here. Please comment 2 things for me. One is that you can hear me, because technology always tries to go awry. And also that you're here. And please do that whether you're watching live or whether you're watching in the replay mode. All right. It's always interesting to me. I'm going to share my screen now. How about 90% of the people attend in replay mode. So thank you for those of you that join us later. All right. So in a quick review, yesterday we talked about your people, and that's your psychographic data of who your ideal student is. And your job is knowing and choosing them well. Today, we're going to talk about your people's problems, what problems they have that you can solve in a journey with your business. Now, tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the 3rd P, which is positioning, which means what products and services of yours can solve their problems. And then the next day, we'll talk about planning and what strategies you need to implement and consistently to attract those students. And then Saturday will be our last day, finally getting to promotion after we've done our homework with those first 4. And how do you find those potential students and turn them into buyers? All right. And so today is all about problems. So we're going to focus on the problems, not our problems, but the problems of our students. The ones that they will gladly pay you to solve for them through your class offerings and maybe other products and services that you offer. But it can't just be any problem. It has to be a very specific, what we call top of mind issue, these pain points that actually might be keeping them up at night, and how you can help them with those. We're going to focus on the exact problems that you can solve for your students. Listen, if you can't think of any problems that you solve, you are about to rethink your business. Now, for some strange reason, when designing a class, so many of the class leaders that I work with focus on the wrong aspects, forgetting that people are actually looking to transform some aspect of their life, or they wouldn't be coming to your class. Share my screen update. All right. Even if you are creating a theme class such as a colander pour or maybe an angel wing pour, you still need to solve a problem in your class or it won't sell. And you need to represent that you are solving that problem in your client's words and in your marketing. Now, what kind of problems? Remember, yesterday we talked about how all people have what's called secondary motivators that aren't so obvious. So while they might come to you with, hey, I want to learn how to do this fluid art, it looks like fun. Why are they interested? And so here's some examples that can be something as simple as maybe they just need to find a peaceful space, a place for them to be able to unwind. Your class could be something that they do as part of their self-care and maybe indulge their creativity. In any business, no matter what you're selling, the best way to sell a program or service or class offering is to actually stop trying to sell it. Instead, focus on creating ways of solving your ideal students' problems, because we are all willing to pay for solutions to our problems. Even more importantly, people will price shop for an art or a craft class because, hey, they're a dime a dozen. But if you specialize in solving a specific problem in a specific niche, that your ideal student suffers from, they won't price shop. They'll recognize the value and that you are offering and sign up for your class. Now, to be 100% clear on what your ideal student's top problems are, you will first need to know who your ideal student is and what their psychographics are, not just their demographics, but their psychographics. So if you haven't consumed part 1 of this yet, then you will want to do that as soon as possible. That was yesterday's. And also make sure that you're enrolled so that you get the workbook, and that has a 3-page evaluation. It's tight on how to help you dig deep to be able to understand your ideal people. All right. Taking the time to understand and make a list of your ideal student's top critical issues is a necessity. You have to understand what their challenges are in life, and then otherwise the verbiage that you use and the way that you write up the information that's on your website or in your social media posts or in your emails will reflect your lack of understanding, and you won't attract the following that you want. After all, people do not follow folks that they do not have faith in. Marketing in a way so that your ideal student will feel like that you really get them and you understand what's going on with them. This is exactly what you want to do. The key is to use their language and to express those thoughts, which means staying away from your artist speak and your technical mumbo jumbo. Because so many creative class leaders make this mistake, I want to share with you some examples of what I mean so that you get the hang of how to speak clearly to your ideal student. Imagine that you work with women in the age range of 45 to 65 who are in transition in their life, and maybe they're working a corporate job, or maybe they're going through a divorce, or the kids are leaving home, or they're retiring, or they have some aging issues. They have no idea what's next in their life, and they're feeling confused and worthless and without direction and worried. Your ideal student hasn't done anything for herself creatively recently. She isn't exercising and always caring for her family and her work first, but has been dreaming of a passion-based second career. So let's imagine this gal. We're going to call her Allison, and we're going to try to understand what she has been thinking in her words. Here's some examples. I have been so focused on work and family for so long, I don't even know who I am anymore or what I want. I haven't been exercising, creating, or paying attention to myself because at the end of the day, I've cared for everyone else and I am just exhausted. Now that kids are gone, I can actually sit and figure out what's next, but every time I do, I draw a blank. I just don't know what's possible for me at this time in my life. Now that I've left my corporate job and the house is empty, I realize that the passion I once had in my relationship is gone, and I feel like I have nothing left. Now, I think we all probably know someone like Allison, and these are the kind of thoughts that keep her up at night, right? So keeping this in mind, what I want you to see, what kind of wording might we use to be able to promote a class for marketing. Now, you could use some words like this, all right? Join us in a beautiful, this might appear like on your social media events and your flyers and your handouts and paid ads that you might, whatever it might be, this might be the wording that you use. Join us in a beautiful art center facility for hours of learning acrylic paint pouring. You'll enjoy tasty cheese trays, dark chocolate, and red wine. Through my special Find Your Perfect Paint Viscosity methodology, you'll get clarity on how to do flow art under my tutelage in person. So much better than watching a YouTube video. Plus, we'll be learning the angel wing pour, and you will take home a large canvas to proudly hang on your walls. By the end, you'll be feeling confident and ready to go in your new hobby. Well, what's my problem with this? Okay, first, Allison doesn't do crafts or art, and she hasn't been doing anything creative right now, and so this would not be enticing to her. After all, she hasn't been doing anything for herself lately, right? Also, Find Your Perfect Paint method viscosity. This is artist speak, and she doesn't know what this is, and it doesn't sound fun and exciting. After all, she will not be able to tell from this that you are speaking to her and speaking to her top issues and her challenges. She probably will not pay attention to this invite, and that's why it's critical to understand your ideal student's top problems, their psychographics, and the words that she is using. So let's reword this. Um, if you are ready to imagine a new life for yourself, come and join new friends to reignite your lost passions and desires for creative expression while cultivating new and exciting possibilities. We'll indulge in decadent refreshments, deeply relaxing creative play, and will nurture our hearts by honoring what we've accomplished in our lives so far, as well as exploring what we're ready to create next. By the end of this class, you will be relaxed and inspired to dive into the next chapter of your creative life with the clarity and the steps that you need to take you there. Well, wow! Notice the difference of how your ideal student can immediately relate to this. About the results that she'll be able to receive. It solves problems for her. She can see that in her new life and her lost desires are the focus of the class, whereas in the first example, kind of just seems like an advertisement for a craft class. The first example is going to be really hard to sell because it feels more like a school environment. And the second example feels like a truly transformational experience where there's some definite takeaways for her problems and are going to be honored. Her problems are going to be honored, addressed, and solved. This second example will also be easier to sell at a higher price point because it feels more valuable. And more importantly, the text in the second example is worded in a way that your ideal student would be speaking, not in your artsy, crafty speak. So put yourself in your prospective student's shoes. Think back to a time that you didn't know what you wanted to do, but afterwards you were glad that you did. The decision-making process, that point that you're making the decision, whether it was a trip or a class or experience, remember how surprised you felt, like, wow, that's exactly what I needed, and I'm really glad that I went. Within that glad feeling, you may have been able to identify, you may not have been able to identify exactly why you were so glad. In fact, when telling someone about the experience, you may have explained it kind of technically or failed to convey to them what the deeper meaning was or why it was so significant to you. Like there is some kind of disconnect between the words you said and what you felt. This is so important. So I want you to get this. So here's an example. Let's say that coming home from a ladies' retreat at your church, you were so excited and you felt connected to some of the other ladies, and also deep spiritual needs were met. But when your family asked how it was, you told them what they served for meals and that it was good and that you liked the opportunity to talk in some of the breakout groups. Inside, you even felt frustrated within yourself because you knew that you were not communicating well. Your family didn't get why you loved it so much, and they may have even commented things like, well, it sounded boring to them. You wanted them to get it, but you really couldn't find the words to articulate it. That's the disconnect. We need to find those words. Your students may or may not be able to articulate. The first step is helping them find the words. And then the second is to use those very same words in your marketing to be able to help others to see that they need to come to your class. Hey, it's a win-win. Your previous students win because they can better see the value that they got from your class. And then the future students knows better what to expect. But also it helps them to be able to make this important decision. So you might consider contacting some of your previous students and say, hey, tell me, what did you get out of my class? And just have a conversation with them. And they might say the surfacey things like, I learned how to do a swipe and I learned how to do a flip cup. But then you could ask them, well, how did you feel during the class, right? Kathy, who is the moderator of one of my groups, and she'll be doing she'll be co-hosting on a Q&A session that we're doing tonight at 8:30. I want you to tune back into the acrylic pouring group here for that live. Love for you to submit your questions beforehand into the special post. But Kathy always asks a real good question to her class whenever she ends them. She says, hey, how did you feel during the class? And people say, oh, it was exciting. It was interesting, good. And said, well, did you worry about your problems? They say no. Said, if you had any kind of physical or even emotional pain issues, did you feel the pain while you were in my class? They say no. Are you starting to see the kind of problems that we have the capacity to solve or help people with in our paint pouring classes? All right, good. Now you can see why it's so critical to know your people and to know their problems if you really want to sell your class. So perhaps we could help each other in the fluid art, we could help each other in this challenge to be able to brainstorm together for those words. And so let's definitely continue this out in the discussion forum. Okay. All right. So tomorrow we will learn how to take this new insight of our people and their problems. And then number 3 is about position, meaning we're going to position ourselves as their solution. All right. Well, listen, remember to download your workbook and work on it. Remember to participate in the discussion post that is in the group. I'm going to post that right after I click off on this thing. And then please come back tonight and join us for the Q&A session. The easiest way to participate in that is to put my name in little search. You know, each group has a separate search, so you can search just inside that Facebook group. Just put Casey Corbin in there. You'll see all my posts. You'll see one that kind of stands out to you. It says Ask Casey. Click on that one. Post your question in there. You can post anything about this group. So I look forward to seeing you tonight at 8:30 and seeing you tomorrow.